Hello, my fall friends. If you've been following me long enough, you know I don't gatekeep. So if I have a fall recipe that I love, or any recipe that I love, I'm going to share it with you, okay? Today, we are making maple walnut blondies with the real deal maple syrup. These are absolutely delicious. If you've never had a blondie before, and you're like, I'm a brownie person. Me too, but just reserve judgment until after you've had one of these. Now, as always, your girl's making a much bigger batch than you're gonna make, but I will say and put the ingredients that you need on the screen over here somewhere for a single batch, which will go into a 9x9 pan. So, you need 1.5 sticks melted unsalted butter. Just pour that in, and 1 cup of lightly packed light brown sugar. So that's one of the big differences between a blondie and a brownie. Brownies usually use like room temp butter and white granulated sugar. Blondies often use melted butter and brown sugar. Once you get that mixing and pretty well incorporated, you're going to add just 1 egg. Okay, your mixture should almost look like a caramel. Now we are going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. I know, they're very minuscule amounts. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of maple extract. Trust me, this kicks it up the next notch. So we're going to use the maple syrup and maple extract. Now you need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and 1/2 cup of that pure maple syrup. Get that all in there. As I'm sure you can hear, my oven's on. We're preheating to 375. We're gonna get this moving, and we're gonna add 1 cup of chopped walnuts. Now I get walnut pieces and I just put them down on a cutting board and give them a rough chop so they're a little bit more bite size. Oh, this smells killer. We want all the walnut pieces in there. As I said before, you're going to use a 9x9 pan. If you only have 8x8, that's fine. You're probably just going to have to bake a little bit longer. If you want to do a 9x13, double the recipe. Looks like we're done. So here's our finished batter. Like a brownie batter, pretty thick. We're going to spread that into a prepared pan. I like to use parchment. You don't have to put parchment down in yours, but you can. So here's what they look like. Now, another thing that sets these apart. Take 2 tablespoons of that pure maple syrup and drizzle it right on top. What we're going to do is kind of swirl this into the top of the batter. Another extra maple hit. I'm just going to use the knife that I cut my walnuts with. So I like to give her a little swirl. And then I'm going to smooth it back out and add 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts on top. That's totally optional. There we go. These are going to get nice and golden brown then on top as well, and add a different nut texture. Ready for the oven. 375 for 22 to 25 minutes. You want there to be a slight jiggle in the middle. I'm going to film myself taking them out of the oven so you can see what it looks like when they're ready to come out. Just like brownies, you don't want to over bake these because then they can become really dry. So we want to keep these with a little bit of jiggle because they're going to continue to cook in the hot pan once they're out of the oven. So I'll show you that step. All right, it's time to check on our maple walnut blondies. Yes, see they're golden brown. Got a little movement in the center. Another way you can tell is obviously putting in like a toothpick, having it come out clean, but touching in the very center and get if it has a little like spring. If it doesn't feel solid, it's ready to come out. So let's take these out and let them cool completely before we slice them. Look at these maple walnut blondies. Perfect texture. They smell like French toast on Christmas morning. It is perfection. And you did this. It's an easy recipe. So try these out this fall. I'm going to put my socials here on the screen. Make sure you follow me here and on YouTube. And if you want to see other things, let me know in the comments.